Republican Senator Dan Sullivan of Alaska, member of the House Armed Services Committee, is first with me to talk about this. What was at stake here? What remains at stake? Because it looks like it could be dead in the Senate.
Well, you know, Harris, the way it works right now is we've already passed out of the Armed Services Committee a NDAA for this year, and I'm on that committee. We're going to be debating our own NDAA the next 2 weeks on the Senate floor, and then we will meet with the House members in conference in the next several weeks to hash out a final bill. But it's really important that the House pass a strong bill. And here's the thing. I agree with Speaker McCarthy. What the NDAA should be doing, and this is what I focus on all the time on the Senate side, is focus on what our military is all about. Lethality, 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 and winning America's wars. Readiness for our military. The military is not a social organization. The military is there to protect America's national security interests. That should be the focus of the NDAA. And it's certainly been the focus of my time on the Armed Services Committee.
So when I reported on the breaking news just a few minutes ago, I said paid transgender care and required diversity and so on and so forth. That Senator Tuberville of Alabama was against all of that. Does that come back in order to get this done in the Senate? I mean, how big is the fight at this point for you?
You know, it's an important fight, and we had a lot of amendments in the Senate NDAA when we marked it up 3 weeks ago that focused on some of the similar issues. Now, remember, in the Senate, the Democrats control that committee, so some of our amendments on those issues did not pass, right? So the conference is going to be the key. But here, there's a broader issue here. These kind of social issues take away from our focus on lethality. The biggest issue that I'm concerned about right now, Harris, is the fact that 3 years in a row, the Biden administration puts forward defense spending cuts. And this is the same this year as well. This is exactly the wrong message to send to our adversaries, whether it's Putin or Xi Jinping. The current Biden budget shrinks the Army, shrinks the Navy, shrinks the Marine Corps. And that is not what we need for America's lethality.
But they have room to pay for transgender care, and they have room to pay for travel, potentially for women in the Pentagon or serving in the military to travel for abortions. I mean, that's the fight as you go forth. Look, I want to get this in real quick.
That's the fight.
We only have a few seconds for this, but I've got to, excuse me, Senator, I have to get your quick reaction to what's going on with NATO. No one holding them accountable, holding their feet to the fire, soon to be 32 nations. Right? And as soon as Sweden joins, nobody there for them to pay their fair share.
Yeah. Well, listen, Harris, I couldn't agree more. And I went to the summit, and there was some good progress, I will say, at this summit with regard to the outcome. But my number one message at the NATO summit the last few days when I was in Lithuania was exactly what you said. Every world leader that I met with, I said, hey, here's the issue. All of you have to hit your 2% of GDP for defense spending target.
We can't fight every war on our dime. Taxpayers don't want that in this country. I have to let you go. I still keep my promise, though. I'm coming to Alaska to meet you in person.
You got to get to Alaska.
Senator Sullivan,
it's beautiful
thank you.
here right now.